I think it's very important to learn how to perform under pressure because, of course, understanding what it means to be under pressure, how we react as individuals under pressure, or how we react as a team, and how those members in the team react as well. When you understand and appreciate that, when you're expected to deliver in the moment, everybody knows how it feels. You've experienced it before, you've done the training matters.
Learning to find flow whilst performing under pressure gives us a new arsenal from which to perform from, an edge above all the other technical, physical, nutritional training. It allows us to, in the day-to-day training scenarios, maximize each of those sessions. So we're getting the most from each moment, which allows us to train less, reduce our stress, gives us more energy, and more importantly, enjoy all of those, our day-to-day living. And most of us aren't taught, we're not given a rule book or an education on how to manage our internal experience. We so often just expect it to be at its optimal when we want it.
But typically when you're put under extreme pressure, several things happen. In the body, certainly their heart rate will go up, their breathing rate goes up, they might be clammy, they start agitated, a little bit fidgety.
We kind of enter a mild fight, flight or freeze reaction where the sympathetic nervous system kind of takes control, the blood goes to our extremities, and we can feel our hearts that are pumping, and maybe our chest kind of tightens a bit, and we take that deep breath in and we become highly focused for a short period of time. But often what happens for a lot of people is we become quite conscious, or we become distracted by the physical sensations and the tightening.
And in the mind, you can see quite a lot of changes going on, and they manifest themselves in being slightly disorganizing, over-talking, not being able to focus on what they need to do.
And we become less grounded. Some people might go more into our heads and we start thinking and analyzing or over-analyzing. And extreme cases we get into sort of analysis paralysis. And other people go more to their emotions and become extremely passionate and start making impulsive decisions. And other people might go to their sort of gut instincts and react from their inherited intelligence and just do knee-jerk reactions that they don't necessarily expect. And instead of that fluid movement that allows us to do what we train for exceptionally well, everything stutters a little bit or feels slightly tight. And as a result, we might perform okay or well or even quite good, but we just fall short of those optimal experiences that we're capable of. And when we can learn to understand that actually we have different ways of operating, if we can balance our sympathetic nervous system with our parasympathetic nervous system to allow us to stay alert but balanced and flexible, we can find new ways of performing, new ways of meeting a challenge, and new ways of experiencing events.
Being able to manage your mind when you're under pressure is absolutely crucial. Once you've understood what your mind is trying to prepare the body for, it will give you a huge amount of increased self-confidence, the ability to trust your mind and your body that they will do what is expected when you're under pressure.
And we come away with it not only performing well, but we come away with it feeling really satisfied that we've learned and that we've grown and that we can push ourselves and that we've met a challenge and we've had the resilience to go through it, come out the other side, maybe even a bit surprised by what we've just been able to achieve. And that system and that process of how we've approached the challenge, what we felt within it, leads us, becomes a motivator to finding those experiences more often.
It's so important to spend time and resource on managing your mind, because of course that's what governs us, that's what we live with. We live with our mind, and it controls our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our deep-seated beliefs and values.
Yeah, so often for many performers we train, and I've done it, I've trained physically for so long. I've spent hundreds and thousands of dollars on equipment and refining every other area than actually what happens inside, which is critical when we come to that pressure situation. And often those moments can define us. They can define how we how we enjoy that experience. They can define how we move away from it. They lead the patterns that affect our mental health.
Finding flow as an elite performer, you might be in sport, in a team sport, or in business. Finding flow and understanding that there's a process that starts months before the event you're training for. And as the days get closer, we can understand how we feel, how we react, what is going on in our mind, and being able to understand it, to welcome that, to welcome the changes. And as we get closer, we can visualize 2 weeks before, 2 days before, even down to the 2 hours and 2 minutes. And you'll see this routinely in elite sports people.
When we learn the tools to perform under pressure, we can start to gain control of the canvas of our consciousness. We can start to understand what's in my awareness, what's happening upstairs, what's happening in here, and we can start to build the experience that we want to build. And when we're proactively managing this experience, we can start to find the calm amongst the storm. We can still be in a struggling, intense environment and context and situation, but we can find a level of enjoyment and freedom within that, and allows us to find a level of self-expression that can lead to those optimal experiences. So when we can learn to manage the mindset that we have, what are this kind of fundamental wiring of how our brain deals with pressure? How does it deal with a challenge and under critical performance? Then what can we fine-tune in our preparations to ensure that we're heading in the exact direction we want that leads us to an optimal experience? And then finally, once where the event is happening, how do we reach that level of immersion where the whole world disappears and we're so focused on the moment, the task at hand, only picking out relevant bits of information moment to moment?
So learning about flow, learning about how to manage your thoughts, your emotions, will be life-changing. I know it has been for me. Not only in the area of sport and in learning to perform under pressure, but in many different aspects of my life where I've just wanted to optimize the experience I'm having. And I really see flow as a way to do things and a way to approach certain challenges in my life. And it will give you a very structured system which has been tried and tested. And so many athletes, and I'm not only talking about athletes here, but people who need to perform. It can be in a business setting as well, if you're doing a speech or if you have an important meeting. So many people believe that either you have what it takes to be able to perform or you don't. So either you have this natural ability and you're mentally tough or you're not. But it's actually really not true. I used to believe this as well. I used to actually think I'm just not a good competitive skier. I just don't know how to perform on the day when it really matters. But I wish that I had have started much earlier with this, because you can learn how. There are very concrete techniques to learning how to manage your thoughts, manage your emotions, direct your attention, whole plethora of things, which is going to enable you to really have the experience that you want to have and ultimately achieve the goals that you want to achieve.